Welcome to another installment of Modern Fishkeeping. Now that you've decided where you're going to put your aquarium, it might be a good idea to decide which aquarium you're going to buy. Do you want a really big one, like this 75-gallon cichlid community, or do you want a really small one, like a 10-gallon? Well, the truth is, aquariums can range from sizes of 1 gallon to 500 gallons, 10,000 gallons. It's quite a big deal. But the modern home aquarist is going to want to stick with something between 10 and 90 gallons. And it depends on what kind of fish you want to do as well. Now, just to start off with, I'd like to debunk the myth that larger aquariums are harder to clean. The truth is, they're a heck of a lot easier. Let me tell you why. With a larger body of water, temperature and pH are more stable. This results in less fish stress, which, in the end, results in less fish diseases, which, as we all know, can be a very, very horrible thing to deal with. You should also probably decide what kind of fish you want to have in your tank. Now, if you want to have cichlids, which are a very aggressive family of fish, like these guys here, you're probably going to want to have a larger tank, say 75 to 90 gallons. However, the home aquarist a lot of times doesn't want to deal with cichlids. Therefore, especially for the first-time aquarist, it's a good idea to possibly get a smaller tank, let's say 30 to 55 gallons. Now these are fairly large tanks and should be easy to deal with. And they serve great for community tanks, especially for peaceful fish. Many people think that tank size is associated with algae, when in fact it's not. Whether you have a 10-gallon or a 75-gallon, you have just the same chance of getting the same amount of algae. Lastly, as far as tank size goes, you're going to want to consider two factors. The first being, how much space do I have? Even if you've decided where to put the aquarium, you're going to want to get the largest tank possible, for the reasons I discussed before, the pH and the temperature stability. After you've decided whether or not you have enough space for a larger tank, you're going to want to look at the cost. As one would assume, a 75-gallon is going to cost a lot more than a 10-gallon. And if you're not financially sound enough to take care of a 75-gallon and all its components, I wouldn't purchase one. After you've decided what size of tank you want to buy, maybe next you should look at the shape. Believe it or not, there are different shapes of aquariums. The two standard ones are regular and long. For example, this is a 75 standard. Now there's no such thing as a 75 long, but there is such thing as a 20 long and a 20 high. A 20 high is known as the standard 20. That's the tank that's going to be 24 inches long and approximately 20 inches high. The 20 long, however, is going to near 3 feet in length and only 15 inches in height. Therefore, the tank is much longer than it is high. There are also some much different types of tanks out there, such as hexagons. When you take the tank and turn it over, you see it's in the shape of a hexagon. In this case, the tank is very high and almost cylindrical in shape. And you have to be careful with these types of tanks, especially when trying to purchase bottom-feeding fish. The reason is, at the top of the tank, you're going to find more dissolved oxygen than at the bottom. So in a hexagon high, it's going to be a very tall tank, meaning the fish that are at the very bottom will have less dissolved oxygen and will not be able to survive as easily. So when wanting to purchase a tall or hexagon tank, I wouldn't recommend buying bottom feeders, but if you really want to, then you should probably think about purchasing an aerator. Another type of tank out there is called a bow front. As you can see, this tank is flat on the front. But in bow fronts, the two sides in the back of the aquarium are straight, and the front of the aquarium comes out in a bow. They do this for easier and magnified viewing of the inside of the aquarium. Now there's nothing special about these tanks, and you can purchase one just as easily as you could purchase a standard aquarium. Also, when deciding whether or not to buy an aquarium, you'll want to look at what it's made of. In this case, it's made of glass, which a lot of people argue is the best way to go. Sure, it's more fragile, but it's cheaper, and it won't scratch as easily. On the other hand, if you want an incredibly durable tank, I would look at purchasing an acrylic aquarium. Acrylic is a form of plastic, and while it's more expensive and can very easily be scratched from the inside or the outside, the tank is very, very durable and will not break if you have especially aggressive or large species or children outside the aquarium. All glass tanks have seams at the corner of the tank where silicone is placed and the two plates of glass are put together. However, in acrylic aquariums, you can purchase aquariums that are just molded around, so there's no seam. This creates a seamless, continual view of the inside of the aquarium. And although it is much more prettier, it can still be pretty expensive. So in the end, when deciding on what type of aquarium you would like to purchase, remember how much size you have and how much money you have, and then purchase the largest aquarium you can in order for future ease of maintenance. Also remember, would you like a very tall tank, a very long tank? Would you like a bow-shaped tank? Or perhaps you would like an acrylic tank? Remember all these things in purchasing your first, second, third, or maybe even fourth aquarium. That's it for today from Modern Fish Keeping.